invite our next speaker, Mr. Shomari Talbot Woolridge. He is the youth wing chairman or chairperson. Is that right? Got it? Let's give him a big round of applause.
Are you all right? All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to introduce our esteemed guest speaker for the evening. Which one? Good evening. I'm here to introduce our esteemed guest speaker for the evening, Reverend Nicholas Genevieve-Tweed. But before I do that, I want to relay a message to each and every one of you. And it's a very simple message, and it's one that we should all take back to our branches. And it is, when we work, we win. And we are the hardest working political party in Bermuda. And when we stop working, we go into opposition. So each and every one of you, when you leave here tonight, go back to your branches and relay that message, because the work that you do in your branches is the work you do for the PLP. And each 36 branches create one PLP. And we know the power when we all do the work for the one progressive Labour Party that we all believe in, right? So let's get to work so we can win. And one man who is a very hard worker, his work comes from a much higher power than ours, but he is one and only Reverend Nicholas Genevieve-Tweed. In 1985, Reverend Tweed co-founded Mount Zion AME Church under the leadership of his father, Reverend Dr. Kingsley Tweed. And within 1 year, the church grew from 2 to around 300 members. This led to the reestablishment of the London Annual Conference of the AME Church. Reverend Tweed was ordained an itinerant deacon by Bishop Reverend R. Bird. In 1989, he graduated from Middlesex University, earning a BA with honors, majoring in philosophy with a double minor in religion and social theory. Later that year, he went to the United States on a full scholarship to Turner Theological Seminary, a constituent of the Interdenominational Theological Center in Atlanta, Georgia. While attending TTS, because I don't want to say that again, he served on the ministerial staff of the Big Bethel AME Church. In '92, he graduated from Turner with honors and is continuing his studies as a PhD candidate in systematic theology at Boston University. In '92, Reverend Tweed was appointed to Bethel AME Church in Providence, Rhode Island. During this time in Providence, he worked for the Urban League of Rhode Island as a senior community organizer in the Advocacy and Public Policy Unit. In Providence, Reverend Tweed developed a reputation as a forceful advocate and was successful in getting the legislature to establish a statewide commission charged with investigating racism and abuse in the Rhode Island prison system. In July of 1993, he was appointed to Allen Chapel AME Church in Hartford, Connecticut, where he served for 4 years. While serving in Hartford, Reverend Tweed was a vocal and viable force in the community. The membership at Allen showed a remarkable increase, and the church became financially secure. Among Reverend Tweed's significant accomplishments while in Hartford was the securing of a corner lot property just adjacent to the church that the church had been trying to acquire for over 40 years. In June of 1997, during the first district, Reverend Tweed was appointed to Macedonia AME Church in Flushing, New York. While serving at Macedonia, Reverend Tweed continued to be an active member in the community. He was on the board of directors of the NAACP, on Community Board number 7 in Flushing, and was appointed the community liaison between the Flushing community and the Flushing Police Department. As he feels that the church should play a significant role in the community, Reverend Tweed started a food bank and established the Macedonia Community Development Corporation, which was designed to address the projects aimed at meeting the needs of the distressed and oppressed within the Flushing community. Among the many accomplishments at Macedonia, Reverend Tweed secured a sole source land disposition agreement and put together a landmark affordable housing project, the first in Flushing in more than 40 years. Reverend Tweed also represented the AME Church on the Board of Governors of Church World Service, or CWS. And while on the board, he was part of 2 delegations to Colombia and South America in support of the Afro-Colombian community struggle for human rights and justice. From June of 2009 until December 2012, he served with distinction as a presiding elder of the Manhattan District of the 1st District of the AME Church, with responsibility for 15 churches. While presiding elder, Reverend Tweed was part of a delegation for the Institute of the Black World to Haiti. In January of 2013, Reverend Tweed was appointed the 33rd pastor of St. Paul AME Church. Under his superb, forward-thinking, and energetic leadership, the congregation has grown, continuing with his vision of the church's role in the community. St. Paul, in partnership with the BIU and the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party, established a weekly feeding program which services over 15,000 people a year. That's a clapping moment. Reverend Tweed is also one of the principal founders of the People's Campaign for Equality, Jobs, and thank you, which is an advocacy group that has led the island on social justice and human rights issues. On the 5th of June 2017, the Bermuda Conference of the AME Church won an historic case when the Chief Justice of Bermuda, Ian Kowali, ruled that the then One Bermuda Alliance government denial of a work permit and attempt to deport Reverend Nicholas Genevieve-Tweed, the pastor of this St. Paul's AME Church, was unlawful. Unlawful. This marked the culmination of a process that included the political targeting of Reverend Nicholas Genevieve-Tweed for his social justice advocacy and subsequent banning of Reverend Tweed from the pulpit in an effort to silence him by the then One Bermuda Alliance government. A first in the history of Bermuda. Now, this ruling will be recorded as an historic landmark victory for the AME Church in Bermuda. On July 18, 2017, the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party won a historic landslide victory, ousting, removing the One Bermuda Alliance from government. The rain got to you guys? Reverend Tweed's advocacy during his 4-year tenure and his participation in pre-election rallies played a significant part in the Progressive Labor Party's historic victory. On Sunday, July 23rd, 2017, Reverend Tweed returned to the pulpit of St. Paul AME Church, ending a 6-month government ban, and preached to a jubilant capacity congregation, including the newly elected Premier, the Honorable David Burt, and a host of dignitaries. Keep standing strong, from Matthew chapter 18, 24 to 30, 36 to 43. In 2018, in recognition of his service to the AME Church and his outstanding leadership and social advocacy, Reverend Tweed was inducted into his alma mater, Turner Theological Seminary's Alumni Hall of Fame. In 2019, Reverend Tweed was accepted into membership at Clare College, Cambridge, United Kingdom, and admitted into the Faculty of Divinity for postgraduate PhD studies in philosophy of religion. In 2021, having successfully completed research area exam requirements, Reverend Tweed was accepted as a PhD candidate in the Faculty of Divinity at Cambridge University in the United Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, members of our great party, it is now my pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, soon to be Dr. Reverend Nicholas Genevieve-Tweed.